The storm had already ripped a 122 kilometers per hour gust that slammed the 4.2-meter rust-brown warehouse door against its frame, like a metallic gunshot. He flinched. He wasn't expecting the storm to turn like this. But the German shepherd beside his left thigh didn't flinch. Her ears swiveled, locked on one thing. One single object on the ground. A 19-centimeter-long brass padlock lying in the mud, broken, clean in half. Nobody told the veteran anything about a padlock being broken. Nobody told him anything inside this inherited warehouse. He crouched. The German shepherd's hackles rose. Nose went to ground, slow, deliberate inhale, as the storm wind pressure doubled again and dragged a sheet of 1.8-millimeter dust across the concrete like a moving skin. His breath shortened. Something was already wrong. The warehouse interior was pitch black. No streetlight reached the back walls. But his dog was not looking into the dark. She was looking at that broken padlock like it was screaming. "Show me," he whispered. He wasn't expecting what she did next. She body-blocked him, her 38-kilogram frame knocking him sideways, and then dropped her nose directly into the shattered mud indentation where the padlock had fallen. There, he saw it. A second metal object, half buried under 3.1 centimeters of clay-soaked mud. Not padlock metal. Thinner, curved, shiny like polished surgical stainless steel. He dug his thumb in, pulled. It slid free. A ring. A women's ring. Exactly 21 millimeters inner diameter. Cold. No engraving. No marking. No serial. The storm slammed another gust. He wasn't alone here. Hours later, the storm didn't weaken. Rain density increased from 3.4 millimeters per minute to nearly 6.8 millimeters per minute, like the world decided to erase its own details. He sat inside his truck, engine off, heater on 22 degrees Celsius, staring at that ring sitting on the dash. The German shepherd, Valk, laid across the passenger seat, belly down, head forward, ears constantly swiveling like mechanical radar dishes. No barks, only processing, like she was calculating threat vectors. His hand hovered above her back. He never touched her without reason. She wasn't a pet. She was a partner. They met 2 years ago. He got her from a K-9 retirement foundation after his discharge. Her record? Explosive detection plus silent point work, neutralization dog. Zero vocalization unless tactically necessary. She hadn't barked once in 2 years. Not one time. Her job on missions had been to notice the first anomaly before the human brain even registered pattern violation. She had kept him alive overseas. He didn't believe in mystical intuition. He believed in neurochemistry plus sensory ratios. And Valk was pure weaponized sensory. He checked the ring again. He placed it against his digital caliper. Exactly 21.00 millimeters internal diameter. That wasn't a random number. That was a manufacturing specification. This was a matched set ring, military or scientific. He opened the glove box, pulled a 13.2 centimeter long micro LED wand and clicked it once to test. He had inherited that warehouse 7 hours ago. A lawyer, 172 centimeter tall woman, had slid a key across her 61 centimeter polished walnut desk and said, "This warehouse and its contents are legally transferred to you. No liabilities, no list of assets. Sign here. His uncle died 2 weeks ago. a man he barely knew. But the lawyer knew his uncle well enough to smuggle urgency in her tone. He'd clocked the micro-tremor in her left hand. He had served too long not to notice people hiding adrenaline. Valk's head jerked up suddenly. Hackles rose again. Wind pressure against the truck frame increased again by at least 18%. He felt the chassis flex. A new sound broke the silence. Metal. Inside the warehouse. A metallic drag like 5.8 kilograms of steel sliding across concrete. He grabbed the LED wand and his 17.8-centimeter titanium pry bar. Valk pressed her body weight into the side of his right leg when they approached the warehouse again, body blocking him from stepping too fast forward into the threshold. That was her trained motion for proceed but expect violent contact. Rain blew sideways now, full horizontal. He clicked the LED wand on. The beam was narrow, 4.5-centimeter diameter spot. It hit the far right wall. Something there was reflective. He moved closer. Valk lowered to a crawl, nose to ground. Then he saw it. Not reflection, not light. Eyes. Two pale gray human eyes. Staring at him. Fixed. Unblinking. And not moving at all, like they were carved into something. Wind pressure doubled, and the whole corrugated roof flexed downward 2.3 centimeters at the center beam. He lifted the LED wand higher, beam diameter now 8.2 centimeters wide and spread at this distance, aimed directly at those pale gray eyes, except they weren't connected to a face. They were embedded inside a 6.4 centimeter thick block of clear epoxy resin. Eyes. Preserved. Human eyes. Not decayed. Not desiccated. Almost fresh. Valk's low growl vibrated against his shin, muscle tension warning. He angled the LED wand. Those eyes had been surgically extracted with extreme precision. No tearing of nerve stalks. Optic nerves clipped perfectly clean at 19 millimeters length. Why would anyone preserve human eyes in a resin block 12.9 centimeters tall and 8.7 centimeters wide? He lifted the resin cube. Dead weight. Exactly 820 grams. Valk's nose went to the ground again. She tracked microparticulates. He could see the way she locked onto scent gradients invisible to him. Her entire weight shifted onto her front paws, hackles up. Then her ears jerked left 22 degrees. Something else in this warehouse. He scanned the left wall with a wand. Stack of wooden crates, each 91 centimeters long, 41 centimeters tall, 33 centimeters deep. Not dusty. Freshly moved within the last 24 hours. Another mini detail. Forklift tines had scraped this concrete floor 11 millimeters deep in channels. Someone moved a heavy mass in recent hours during a storm onset. He knelt. Valk froze. One front paw lifted. Classic scent lock. He followed her vector. Under the crates, he saw a filament-thin metallic glint. He jammed the 17.8 centimeter pry bar under the lowest crate corner, forced it up 3.2 centimeters. Just enough access. He reached in, pulled out a single object. A tiny stainless cylindrical probe, 7.3 centimeters long, 4 millimeters thick. Not a needle, a microbore sampling instrument, stamped with a serial, CX-21. He had seen those before. U.S. Army Black Ops Biolab used them. They took organ tissue samples in the field, and sometimes entire sensory organs. Valk slammed her body sideways into his hip, heavy weight impact, forcing his center of gravity back. Only 2 reasons she ever body slammed. Number 1, bullet trajectory inbound. Number 2, airborne toxin dispersion threshold detected. He didn't hear a gunshot, so that meant airborne threat. He stood still. He held his breath. She inhaled short, sharp diagnostic sniffs, breaking them into 0.8-second micro-sniffs. She didn't freeze. She gently, precisely, angled her head toward the north wall. He raised the LED wand, and there, exactly where the concrete wall met the steel, he saw a line, a straight vertical slice, exactly 2.0 millimeters wide. A door, a hidden panel, not visible from entry. He stepped forward. The vertical slice was opening by itself. The vertical slice widened from 2.0 millimeters to 4.4 millimeters as internal hydraulics hissed. 2.6 bar pressure in the actuator, based on sound pitch, plus his training memory. This was not an old warehouse gimmick. This was precision engineering. Valk lowered her chest to concrete, nose still to ground. She crawled 41 centimeters forward, then stopped and went statue still. That was her signal. Invisible boundary here. He placed his palm exactly above her spine. He always matched his boundary to hers. The hidden panel reached 12.6 centimeters open, enough to slide through sideways. He inhaled through nostrils only, slowly. Chemical? Solvent? He caught a faint smell like chlorine but sharper. Possibly aldehyde-based organ stabilization compound in concentration below 0.4 parts per million. Valk didn't react to it, so the human safe threshold. He slid his left shoulder in first. The LED wand extended. The panel sealed behind them automatically, closing with a 1.3-second pneumatic compression cycle. They were now in a chamber. Exact dimensions by his quick visual scan. 7.4 meters long, 3.8 meters wide, 2.9 meters ceiling height. Temperature, cooler, approximately 13 degrees Celsius. On the left wall, 5 stainless tables, each 1.2 meters long, 53 centimeters deep. On each table, one organ preserved in clear resin. A heart, a pair of lungs, a section of spinal cord, a larynx, a tongue. All human. He lifted the LED wand higher. The resin blocks were uniform, 14.0 by 9.0 by 6.4 centimeters each. The precision chilled him. If these organs matched the eyes, this warehouse wasn't a storage unit. This was an archive. A human body, broken into quantified components. Valk's ears snapped to the right wall, exactly 37 degrees pivot. She rose to full stand, hackles full up, nose slicing microcent layers. He followed her vector. On right side, a steel cylinder stood upright, 41 centimeters tall, 19 centimeters diameter. A cryo canister, liquid nitrogen containment rated model. There was a digital display on it.
A cryo canister, liquid nitrogen containment rated model. There was a digital display on it. It read 183 degrees Celsius, but then the temperature climbed. 182, 181, 180. Someone had activated thaw protocol earlier. That meant the cylinder wasn't in storage mode anymore. It was WAKING something. He inspected the lid. There were 6 locking bolts of 7 millimeter diameter each. Every bolt was loosened exactly 1.5 millimeters. Someone began to open it but stopped halfway. Then he noticed a second detail. There was frost on the lower side of cylinder, but no frost at the top edge. That meant current thermal exchange was internal, and not from nitrogen. Something inside was chemically generating heat. A new sound broke the silence. Not mechanical. Biological. A slow, heavy, moist, shifting sound inside the cylinder. Valk slammed into his shin, body slam, not a warning now. A command, her only signal that meant, do not let that be opened. He reached for the cylinder. Then he saw the small label, printed in red. Patient subject, alive. Inside this thing, something was still alive. Wind pressure rose again. gusts now hammering the corrugated roof at 138 kilometers per hour, each metal sheet flexing 2.9 centimeters with every strike. Rain sprayed sideways, soaking the floor with 6.8 millimeters per minute, forming shallow rivulets. The warehouse had transformed from storage to a storm chamber. Valk pressed her body into his side, ears swiveling sharply 35 degrees, hackles up, low growl vibrating along her chest. She had never been this tense before. He backed slowly from the cylinder, LED wand highlighting the frost-slick floor. Every sound echoed against steel walls. A creak at the far end drew his eyes. Someone was coming. A man entered, clean, unassuming, even in the storm. Height, 1.85 meters, weight, 85 kilograms, navy jacket drenched with rain, black gloves exactly 0.8 millimeters thick. His smile was polite, non-threatening, but the eyes told a different story. "Ah, you must be the heir," he said smoothly, voice measured. "I'm Dr. Havel, caretaker of the collection. I didn't expect anyone to be so meticulous." Valk froze mid-step, nose to ground, sniffing the wet concrete. Her low growl now deepened, vibrating like a warning drum. She positioned herself 38 centimeters ahead of the veteran, body blocking Dr. Havel's approach. The man's gaze flicked to Valk. "Ah, the K9. Highly trained, I see. Impressive. Why are these organs, here?" the veteran asked, hand brushing Valk's flank for reassurance. Dr. Havel's eyes glinted. "Experimental, scientific, nothing personal." He gestured to the cylinder, now slowly hissing at minus 179 degrees Celsius, heat forming frost patterns on the floor. The subject inside, vital for our research. Valk's nose went straight to the cylinder, hackles up, ears rotating. She lunged forward, body slamming the veteran backward 1.2 meters for leverage. It was her precise tactic for maximum protective distance. Dr. Havel smiled again. "Ah, protective instincts, noble, but unnecessary." He moved toward the cylinder, each step 0.9 meters, deliberate, controlled. The veteran grabbed a 17.8 centimeter pry bar. "I won't let you." Havel's expression didn't change, but his hand slid into his coat pocket, revealing a 12 centimeter stun baton. "We won't fight yet." Valk sniffed the air. Micro scent detection alert less than 0.5 parts per million, possible aerosol compound in circulation. Her body stiffened, tail low, growl deeper. A mini-twist erupted. A second cylinder hissed behind Dr. Havel, identical dimensions, 41 centimeters tall, 19 centimeters diameter, frost forming on top. Someone else had been here recently, left in haste. Valk swiveled ears 42 degrees, hackles rising further. Her nose hit the trail. The second cylinder was linked via 1.2 centimeter diameter tubing to the first, running along floor channels cut 2 millimeters deep in the concrete. "Another subject?" he muttered under breath. "Yes," Havel said casually. "We keep all specimens catalogued, organized." Clean. His tone was benign, but every measured step screamed calculated intent. Valk body blocked the veteran again, pressing him back, low growl vibrating, forepaws digging into slick concrete. She would not allow the cylinder to be opened. The first major twist. The second cylinder's lid shifted 0.7 millimeters, enough to reveal a human wrist, pallid and bound inside, not yet conscious but twitching. Havel noticed. "Ah, you're perceptive. Yes, we have our ethical debates internally, some human error, but results are important. You understand?" The veteran clenched the pry bar tighter. Valk sniffed the rising chemical odor, subtle aldehydes, faint organic decay. She pressed her body 21 centimeters closer to the cylinder, signaling urgent action. The storm outside escalated. Lightning struck 32 meters away, shaking the warehouse. Rain flooded the entrance by 4.6 centimeters. Time was shrinking. The conspiracy revealed itself. This warehouse wasn't abandoned property. It was a covert organ harvesting lab masquerading as storage. And the villain, nice at first glance, was both the caretaker and orchestrator. Valk's nose touched the floor, tracing an invisible chemical trail. Mini twist. The trail led to a side vent, 3.6 centimeters wide, partially concealed, indicating someone else might enter from that angle. Dr. Havel smiled politely again. "Do stay. Observe. It's going to get interesting." The storm roared. Valk growled. The first cylinder's frost hissed. The second cylinder's lid inched another 0.5 millimeters, and the subject inside stirred. The veteran's heart pounded. Valk's warning growl deepened. Every instinct screamed danger, and yet Havel remained calm, smiling. Everything was about to change. The storm intensified, gusts now 145 kilometers per hour, slamming rain horizontally into the warehouse. Every sheet of corrugated metal flexed 3.2 centimeters with each strike. Water pooled to 7.1 centimeters depth at low points, slicking the concrete floor. Valk's low growl resonated through the echoing chamber. Hackles up, tail stiff. She pressed herself 42 centimeters in front of the veteran, body blocking all approaches to the two cylinders. Her ears swiveled independently, 35 to 40 degrees, tracing microsound variations. The hiss of frost, the faint creak of floor channels, even the subtle vibration of Dr. Havel's gloved footsteps. Havel approached the first cylinder, hands raised slightly as if placating. "No need for force," he said smoothly, a voice calm. "Everything is under control." Valk's body tensed. She slammed into the veteran's thigh 1.1 meters sideways, signaling imminent danger. Nose sniffed the air rapidly, hackles fully raised. The chemical trail intensified. Aldehyde-based organ stabilizer, now mixed with something else, faint, acrid. The veteran gripped a 17.8 centimeter titanium pry bar, scanning for a tactical advantage. He spotted the side vent Valk had traced earlier, 3.6 centimeters wide, half hidden, leading to the north wall. Someone could enter unseen. Mini twist. A shadow flickered through the vent. Valk lunged forward, low growl vibrating. Her body slammed into the floor 1.3 meters from the veteran, signaling imminent interception. Havel's calm demeanor cracked slightly. Interesting dog, precise, predictable, but predictable nonetheless. He withdrew a small 12-centimeter stun baton from his coat, and the lights on the cylinder flickered as he activated an internal microcircuit. The first cylinder hissed louder, frost forming intricate spikes along the 41-centimeter height. Valk pressed forward, nose to the cylinder, sniffing minute airborne chemicals, hackles rising further. Suddenly, the second cylinder's lid shifted 1 millimeter, revealing more of the subject inside. The faint twitch of a pallid hand confirmed life. The chemical signature indicated a deliberate thaw. Someone was trying to awaken it prematurely. Valk shifted to intercept, body blocking Havel's movement. She pressed weight 38 kilograms against him as he leaned closer. The man's glove scraped against the concrete, leaving 1.2 millimeter micro-scratches. The veteran lunged, pry bar aiming to wedge the lid. Valk spun beside him, tail low, ears angled 37 degrees toward a distant corner. Another sound emerged. Metallic dragging, heavy. Someone else had entered the warehouse through the north vent. Mini twist, a second operative. 1.72 meters, 75 kilograms, black waterproof jacket, emerged, crouched low, moving with calculated precision. Valk immediately went into silent alert mode. Nose down, body blocking path to cylinder, growl resonating deep and low. Havel's eyes widened. "You don't understand the stakes." The second operative made a sudden move toward the first cylinder. Valk slammed sideways into the veteran 1.2 meters, knocking him into position to intercept. She sniffed rapidly, micro-sniffs 0.8-second intervals, calculating angles and threat vectors faster than he could. The storm outside roared. Horizontal rain now 8 millimeters per minute. Lightning struck 27 meters away, shaking the chamber. Water splashed 3.9 centimeters up the legs of the cylinders. Valk's nose traced the first operative's scent. Hackles high, low growl warning, tail stiff. She sidestepped, then body slammed him 1 meter, forcing him backward into a crate stack. Wooden crates 91 by 41 by 33 centimeters toppled, scattering tools, minor debris, increasing the chaos. Havel lunged toward the cylinder, baton raised. Valk rotated 42 degrees, body blocking, growl vibrating against his shins. Sparks flew as the baton contacted concrete. Micro sparks 1.3 centimeters across, but Valk didn't flinch. The veteran forced the cylinder lid back 2 millimeters, frost crackling. Valk pressed against the north vent, nose tracking invisible microscent. The second operative froze for a microsecond, enough for Valk to slash forward 0.7 meters, blocking retreat. Major twist. The thawed subject inside the cylinder moaned. A sound faint but unmistakable, human and alive. Its movement destabilized the cylinder. Frost shards scattered, 1.5 centimeters thick fragments sliding on the wet floor. The veteran realized the stakes were no longer theoretical. Valk's precision, her silent calculations were the only thing standing between the subject's life and Havel's controlled chaos. And the storm? It now felt like it was part of the fight. Wind gusts bent the steel beams. Rain flooded the floor. Lightning illuminated bodies frozen in combat positions. Valk's ears swiveled, hackles high, nose sniffing every molecule in the air. Every instinct screamed, protect, contain, survive. Havel's polite smile disappeared completely. The storm now battered the warehouse with 152 kilometers per hour gusts. Corrugated steel sheets flexed 3.6 centimeters, sending metallic groans through the air. Rain pummeled the concrete floor at 8.9 millimeters per minute, forming rivulets that twisted around crates and cylinders. Lightning flashed every 6 seconds, casting long, jagged shadows that danced like specters across walls. Valk's low growl thrummed against the veteran's shin. Hackles up, ears swiveling 45 degrees, tail stiff. She pressed herself forward, nose to the cylinder, measuring airborne chemicals with perfect precision. Every inhalation is a diagnostic microsniff, 0.8-second interval. She didn't growl in fear, she growled in calculation, warning, strategy. Havel lunged for the first cylinder. Valk spun, body blocking, slamming 38 kilograms of muscle against him. His baton clattered to the floor. Metal sparks flew 1.2 centimeters across the concrete. The second operative tried to flank. Valk's head pivoted 42 degrees, tail stiff, hackles raised. She surged sideways, body slammed him into the toppled crate stack. Wooden crates 91 by 41 by 33 centimeters crashed, splintering. Small debris bounced up to 3 centimeters high. The veteran wedged the pry bar under the first cylinder lid. The frost cracked 2 millimeters, shards scattering. The thawed subject inside moaned faintly, hand twitching, pale skin wet with condensation. Major twist, the subject wasn't a random person. He looked familiar, very familiar. His face, even under frost, revealed a pattern of scars and tattoos, the kind only a few elite operatives bore. His eyes opened, sharp, calculating. Valk pressed her nose closer. She detected micro-traces. Human scent layered with chemical preservative, matched to the second cylinder. The subject inside was alive and trained. Havel barked orders. "Contain him. Neutralize the dog." Valk pivoted, ears swiveling 50 degrees, hackles up. She dropped into a crouch, then launched forward, a calculated 3.2-meter surge. She body-slammed Havel, knocking him into a steel table 1.2 meters long, 53 centimeters deep, sending instruments scattering. A micro-bore sampling probe, 7.3 centimeters by 4 millimeters, clattered to the floor. Lightning illuminated the second cylinder, its lid shifting 1.5 millimeters, revealing another human figure inside. Valk's nose hit the chemical trail immediately. Hackles full up, low growl vibrating like a subwoofer. Tail stiffened to exactly 42 centimeters from body line. Warning. The veteran realized 2 cylinders, 2 subjects, 1 orchestrator. The second operative lunged toward the second cylinder. Valk pivoted 38 degrees, blocked the path. The operative stumbled, sprayed frost mist in all directions. 4.3 centimeters thick layer settled on concrete. The thawed subject moved. Muscle memory kicked in. He grabbed a fallen metal rod 23 centimeters long, spun it to intercept Havel's baton swing. Their collision sent sparks 0.8 centimeters wide, slicing through mist. Valk growled, body ready to intervene again. Major twist. Havel tried chemical deterrent. Spray nozzles activated from the cylinder lid, releasing aerosolized organ stabilizer at 0.6 parts per million. Valk inhaled, micro-sniffed 0.8-second intervals, calculated exposure. She sidestepped, body slammed Havel again, forcing him backward 1.1 meters. The veteran ran toward the second cylinder. Pry, bar in hand. He leveraged 2.2 kilograms against frost-sealed lid. The thawed subject, Valk's silent communication indicated approval, grabbed a loose crate, 35 by 42 by 28 centimeters, and used it to wedge the lid. Frost cracked, 1.7 millimeters, mist rising. The second operative recovered, lunged for the subject. Valk's ears swiveled 42 degrees, hackles fully upright. She slammed into the operative, knocking him sideways 1.4 meters, body blocking with calculated precision. Havel attempted to retreat toward a side vent, 3.6 centimeters wide, possibly to summon reinforcements. Valk dropped into full crouch, pivoted, ears swiveled, tail stiff. She blocked the vent's exit path, hackles high, growling, resonating low. Major twist. The thawed subject inside the second cylinder wasn't just alive, he was armed. A micro-tactical knife 12 centimeters long revealed itself as he cut restraints. Lightning flashed, illuminating Valk, poised like a predator ready for strike, and the veteran, pry bar, at the ready. The veteran made his move. He jammed the first cylinder lid with a pry bar 1.5 centimeters, halting Havel's immediate access. Valk surged at Havel, low growl vibrating, ears swiveling, hackles up. She body-slammed him 1.3 meters, forcing him to the ground. The storm outside became deafening. Wind gusts 160 kilometers per hour, rain at 9.2 millimeters per minute. Every metallic groan in the warehouse echoed like gunfire. Water puddles rose 5.2 centimeters, slicking the floor further. The thawed subjects moved in tandem with the veteran and Valk. They secured the first operative, tying him with 1.2-meter cable ties, removing his baton. Valk's nose traced every chemical residue, tail low but tense, ears swiveled exact angles to detect threats. Havel, finally realizing his plans were collapsing, attempted a desperate leap toward an emergency hatch 42 centimeters wide. Valk intercepted, body slam, 1.5 meters, knocking him flat into the puddled floor. Havel's emergency latch triggered a hidden compartment under the floorboards, revealing 5 more microcylinders, 41 centimeters tall, 19 centimeters diameter, frost forming. New subjects, new danger. The veteran looked at Valk. She stepped slightly forward, nose down, hackles high, ears swiveling 50 degrees, tail stiff. Silent communication. Contain all threats. Protect survivors. Prioritize living subjects. The storm raged, lightning flashed, water pooled, and in that frozen, chaotic, electrically charged moment, Valk became more than a canine partner. She was the central node of survival strategy. The storm had begun to wane, though gusts still tore at the warehouse walls, 92 kilometers per hour, forcing sheets of corrugated metal to flex 2.1 centimeters with every strike. Rain slowed to 4.5 millimeters per minute, puddles receding to 2.8 centimeters depth. The metallic groan of the structure remained, but the chaos inside had shifted. Valk's low growl softened. Hackles still up, ears swiveling 30 degrees, tail lowered slightly, alert but less tense. She moved carefully between the thawed subjects and the subdued operatives, nose to ground, tracing any lingering chemical residue. The veteran assessed the scene. 5 microcylinders containing living subjects were secured. Restraints removed. The first operative tied with 1.2-meter cable ties, second restrained similarly. Havel lay face down, weighing 85 kilograms, unmoving for now, pinned under a toppled crate 91 by 41 by 33 centimeters. Outside, emergency services arrived. Wind still gusting 75 kilometers per hour, lightning fading. The police and paramedics coordinated quickly, evacuating living subjects. Frost shards 1.5 centimeters thick scattered on the wet floor, slippery, but Valk navigated them flawlessly, leading the first subject toward the truck. The veteran noticed something in the corner, a ledger bound in water-resistant material, 29 by 21 centimeters, pages soaked but intact. It contained operational logs, subject IDs, cylinder locations, chemical mixtures, schedules, evidence of Havel's conspiracy. He placed Valk at the entrance, body slightly blocking anyone from leaving the warehouse. She shifted 42 degrees, hackles slightly lowered, ears alert. Low growl subsided. Her work had guided the rescue. Paramedics lifted the thawed subjects carefully into stretchers, cylinders secured for evidence and safe transport. The veteran checked each subject, pulse, breathing, minor frostbite, chemical exposure. Vital signs stable. Havel was handcuffed, wrist circumference 18.2 centimeters, standard police restraints applied. As officers read his rights, he tried to speak, but Valk positioned herself 0.9 meters in front of him. Hackles high, low growl resonating. Her presence communicated clearly. No more movement. The veteran documented every detail, micro-measurements of cylinders, frost patterns, chemical residues, and structural damage. Valk monitored silently, scanning for residual threats. The storm's fury outside had become a backdrop to the meticulous recovery inside. News helicopters captured aerial footage. Authorities confirmed the warehouse had been an illegal organ harvesting lab, run under the guise of legitimate research. Dr. Havel and his associates were arrested on multiple counts: unlawful human experimentation, endangerment, and conspiracy. Valk finally lay down near the truck, hackles lowered, ears relaxed 20 degrees, tail softly moving. She had completed her mission. Silent, efficient, lethal if necessary. The veteran loaded the first rescued subjects into the vehicle. Rain continued to drizzle, puddles now 1.2 centimeters deep. He glanced at Valk. She nudged him gently with her nose, a silent acknowledgement. Every measurement, every action had been crucial. From padlocks 19 centimeters long to cylinders 41 centimeters tall. From frost 1.5 centimeters thick to chemical concentrations 0.6 parts per million. Every detail mattered. The storm outside faded further, leaving a calm but tense aftermath. Valk lay beside the truck, watching. The warehouse, once a chamber of horrors, now stood as evidence. The veteran whispered to Valk, "We did it. All alive, thanks to you." She responded with a slight ear swivel, hackles down, tail brushing his leg. A subtle, functional gesture. Silent approval. Justice had been served. The storm had fully passed. Rain trickled in soft sheets, puddles shrinking to 0.5 centimeters. The warehouse, scarred and battered, was silent now, save for distant emergency sirens and Valk's measured breathing. She lay beside the veteran, head resting on her front paws, ears swiveling 15 degrees, alert but calm. Her low growl had disappeared entirely, hackles flat, tail slowly swishing against the wet ground. She was done with the fight, but the memory of danger lingered in her precise movements. The veteran knelt beside her, hand resting lightly on her flank. Every inch, every centimeter of her body had communicated life-saving information, threats, paths, timing. She was more than a dog. She was instinct and intelligence distilled into motion. He looked toward the dawn breaking over the warehouse roof, streaks of amber and steel gray painting the sky. Measurements didn't matter anymore. Survival, trust, and silent partnership had outweighed every number. He whispered, "Valk, you saved more than lives today. You reminded me, vigilance is strength, but trust is what carries us through the worst." Valk tilted her head, ears swiveling 10 degrees, nose nudging his hand. A subtle, functional gesture, her version of understanding. In that moment, amidst wreckage, frost shards, and scattered cylinders, the veteran realized the moral truth the storm had reinforced. Precision saves lives, but loyalty, instinct, and the silent bond between human and animal can save the soul. Valk rose, tail stiff but calm, and walked beside him. Together, they left the warehouse, a survivor and protector moving forward into the uncertain light of morning. The storm was over. But the lesson remained: some heroes speak without words, and some warnings come only in movement.